Hey guys, we're gonna start our first real winter project. And what we're gonna do for this project is we're gonna be making a penguin on a striped pattern background, and then we're gonna create a hat for him. And whatever your hat looks like is totally up to you. This was just my example. Of course, you know, you had a green hat. That was only right. So what we're gonna do first is the background. Now remember, you guys are making this at home, so you can use whatever materials you have. If you want to make your pattern background using watercolors, great. If you have markers or regular crayons or even quick sticks, which I saw that some of you do have at home. I noticed when you guys were uploading your art projects from your self-portraits, you could certainly use those. But basically what you're going to do, no matter what you do it with, you're gonna pick 3 colors. So stick to 3 colors. So whatever colors you pick are the ones that you're gonna stick with. So for example, if I did blue, purple, and green, I would stick to that the entire time, okay? And so what I would do if I'm doing crayons is I would make a stripe, and then I would color this area in. Now I'm using my paper vertical, up and down, okay, nice and tall. That way I have room to fit my penguin. If I did it the other way, my penguin might not have a lot of room, especially since he's going to be wearing, or she's going to be wearing, a hat. So doing it with crayons is perfectly okay. You can see that it's working completely fine. You just want to make sure that you color everything in nice and full. That way we can really see your stripes in the background. And if you're wanting to use markers, if that's what you have and that's what you'd like to use, that would totally work. You can make some stripes thinner. So this one is thinner and the other ones are thicker. So they're a little larger, my other two. And you can switch up the size. So if you're using paint, you would continue the same, you would do the same thing, but you would just be doing it all with paint. So I'm using watercolors over here. And I would draw my line and then I would paint it in. So I don't want you to ever feel like you have to be using the exact supplies I'm using, because obviously in the art room here we have access to a lot of supplies. So you guys are at home, so you're going to be using what you have at home. And that is totally okay. I'm going to take a little yellow and put it in there to make it more lime green. And I would just continue on until I have finished my whole paper, okay? So I would draw the line and paint. So when I get done, I'm gonna have a paper that looks something like this, right? So imagine I was using these colors. I just have a striped background. So for this one, I did pink, orange, and yellow. And for this one, I kind of did like a green, a lime green, and a turquoise, okay? So what we're gonna do now that we have our background done is we're also gonna be making our iceberg. And the iceberg is the little block of ice that your penguin is gonna be floating on, okay? So to make that, you're going to need a piece of paper. Doesn't have to be big. It's gonna be smaller than the ones that you did your stripe on, okay? You can use any scrap paper for that. And we're also gonna be using our markers. And so I'm gonna walk you through how to draw your iceberg, and then we're gonna do a little trick with water. So for our iceberg, you can use whatever blue you want, or you can even mix it. Like if your marker pack has a light blue and a dark blue, you could certainly use both. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna make an oval, because we're gonna make it sort of look like a cylinder. Now I just traced it a few times so it's nice and thick, and I sort of drew with the side of my marker and not the point, because the point would give me a really thin line like that. And by drawing with the side, I can get a thicker line. So then what we're gonna do is draw 2 lines down. From the sides. And then all we're gonna do is put a wavy sort of jagged line down below. Okay, so it's like our piece of ice broke off. And then we can make little cracks if you want. So it kind of looks like your ice cracked a little bit. But hopefully not endangering our little penguin's life. And then maybe we put a few of the light blue. I'm going to use both markers since I have them. But if you use one marker, that's totally okay. So once we've got our iceberg drawn, here's where the water comes in. We're going to just give it a melty look by adding water on top of our lines. So it'll give it a more watery appearance. Okay? Just like this one here. So we're just going to take a paintbrush, we're going to dip it in water, just plain water. And then all I'm going to do is trace over my marker. And you'll see that the color from your marker will sort of just bleed, which means it sort of leaks onto the white of your iceberg. And we're going to do this to all of the lines. Now, you don't want to paint your whole iceberg blue right now. You're just tracing over those lines just so a little bit of that blue color leaks out. But you want to leave most of your iceberg just plain white. All right, and then you can just hang on to your little painted iceberg and your background. And then next week, we'll start putting it all together with our penguin. All right? Bye, guys.